Welcome to That's Good Craic.
With me, Dan, Colin.
How is? What's the crack?
And Mick.
Yo, yo, yo.
Listen to our podcast every Wednesday.
All right, welcome to That's Good Craic podcast number 16. And sorry we weren't there last week for you guys. And how are you, lads? What's the crack with you?
Shaman motherfucker.
How are you, Carl?
All right, Dan.
Yeah.
All right, Carl.
All good, man. It's lovely and warm.
Yeah.
The sun is shining. Yeah, the sky is beautiful today, actually. It's very blue. I'm looking out at it now. It's really nice. So Ireland is a great place when this is happening.
Oh, it's unreal, man. When the sun
It's
is
easier.
shining.
Ireland is bearable, yeah. Ireland is a beautiful place. It's bearable when the sun is shining.
I tell you what, man. I mean, I see the sun not shine here, obviously, a little bit more, like, and when I go back to Ireland, when the sun shines there, man, there's no place to fucking match it, in my opinion. Like, it's just stunning, like, parts of Ireland with that green. Like, obviously it doesn't happen as much, but when it does, it's, and you see the humour of people change when it does, you know.
I could see the adverts now for Board Fáilte, you know. Welcome to Ireland. It's bearable 20% of the time.
Yeah. I see some.
It's bearable when the sun shines.
I seen some of your pictures, or you got a drone, Colin. I seen some of the pictures, and some of the shots from aerial shots. It look deadly, so they do.
Did, and I really enjoy it, actually. I'm already looking, I wonder if I could get a better one. You know what I mean? Like, but they're a lot of fun. It's just kind of getting, it's really scary to fly it at first, isn't it, Mick? Mick
It's
can attest to that.
terrifying. We brought it out there. We brought it out the other day, and it's like, well, I suppose it's weird, like, you know what I mean? Because it is expensive, right? But it's not any more expensive, say, than a phone.
It's not that expensive, though.
No, that's what I mean.
Like,
I know, yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like, you know, it's hundreds of euros, but it's like, you know, your phone be more expensive, and it's like, but when we were flying it, and it was like heading towards the tower thing, you know what I mean? And it was like you have to keep it like 50 meters away before, like, even at that, it's like whoa, yeah. But
I get vertigo looking at the thing when it goes up too high.
Crazy.
You know, just looking at the screen, I get vertigo. You know, when it goes right up. Oh God, it's terrifying. I don't know, but there's something very exhilarating about flying it, even though I'm not actually flying myself. So yeah, that's it. So,
well, I think that there you go. You know, there is that, like, that fear element does bring a bit of excitement into it, you know, as well. So
also, the coolest thing I've been doing in the past 2 weeks is teaching our dog to find stuff. So my dog now is fully equipped. Yeah, my pup. She's fully
What's it
equipped
found?
to find anything.
Something you hide, like.
Yeah, anything. I give her stuff to hide, and it's been getting. My girlfriend started doing it on the beach, like getting her to dig up balls and just keep reiterating the word search. And now, anytime I just get her to sit, I'll close the door, go to a different room in the house, and bury something underneath a load of clothes, and she will come back to me with that thing in her mouth no matter what.
I just want to know what's your game plan for this.
She's a fucking legend. I don't know. I had no game plan. I was thinking, Jesus Christ, how cool would have this been back in the day? Like, you know what I mean? When you're hopping drugs over it, like, you know, just
going around the local green areas, finding people's stashes.
Yeah,
but you could, like, but it's just, I'm blown away by the intelligence of this dog. You know, and I've been looking up stuff and reading stuff and watching. I watched a video, a short TED Talk video on the dog's noses, on the scent of it, and how they put things together and create kind of things in their brain.
Their scent, their scent,
their nose.
Yeah,
it's fucking insane.
Their scent is linked to their vision as well. They see smells, so you know, they see all the different scents, and they can actually see it in their vision, which is crazy.
They can tell, like, moods by people by sense. So you give off a certain hormone when you're angry, when you're sad, and they can smell those hormones, man. Yeah. That's why they're very intuitive, like, you know. But this is crazy, and there's nothing like. And once I kind of start reading about border collies and trying to understand border collies and that, because I have a better. I'll be more able to understand her than she'd be able to like read and learn about me. You know, that kind of way. So I've been doing my best to figure out. And since we do, the relationship, it's a different type of relationship. It's mental, but she blows me away every day how clever she is. Like I was reading a border collie can learn to do stuff in 5 seconds and then repeat that trick 95% of the time. It'll get it right. Isn't that insane? Isn't it?
That's mad. Is that? I don't know a whole lot about dogs, man. But is it a kind of pure breed? Your dog? Like
no, it's not. My dog is a border collie Rottweiler, and the two of them are good scent dogs. But she's more of a collie. There's no Rottweiler in her. Like she only has the same color as a Rottweiler, but she's a pure collie out. Like, but she is the cleverest little thing. I'm teaching her to dive in the river now. Swimming is.
I've seen that.
No, I'm teaching her to dive, to actually go under the water and retrieve.
All right. And find things like.
How do you do that? Just hold her underneath, or
just hold her down 10 seconds at a time.
Jesus Christ.
Practicing the jits on the dog.
No, they're
just
curious.
Wrestling moves off the bank on top of it.
Takedowns into the water.
She'll go herself. Like you just have to kind of lure her with stones and stuff, you know. And she'd be so crazy to get the stone that she'd put the head down. So she's submerged her head under the water fully now, looking for it. So the next step is to actually get her to go down. But anyway, enough about dogs. But that's my life at the minute now. Is I've become one of those, you know, one of those people. Yeah. I've become one of those.
The proud dog owner, dude.
I'll be bringing the dog for portraits with Santi at Christmas.
Yeah. Wearing the Santi outfit. Have the dog's Santi outfit.
We'll be wearing matching outfits. Another news over a month off is nicotine and smoke tobacco. So that's fucking.
You know, brother. Good fucking job.
That is pretty. Because I just, you know, it's like anything. You just kind of get on with it, right? And then. You don't really see how big of a deal it is, but it's kind of amazes me how strong I can be when I want to be. You know, I've given up. Like I've given up nearly everything at some stage, including meat and dairy and all that for a couple of years, and so I know what it is to give up stuff. So it's just amazing how strong we can be when we just decide to be. When we learn how to be strong, actually, because it is something you have to learn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over time. I suppose some people have it naturally, but I think for me when I was young. Sorry?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously some people would have more of it naturally, like, you know what I mean, with different circumstances or different life experience and, personality, like, you know what I mean. But definitely you can learn it. You have to, coming from where I came from personally anyway, if I hadn't learned it, like, you know what I mean, I was going to have a miserable life, you know, like, in a way, there was no way I could have stayed at the level I was at. So definitely it can be learned. Like anything, like with character, it's like just practicing, you know what I mean? The more you do something, like, that's what becomes your character, you know what I mean? So, sometimes you falter, but, you know, that doesn't mean that that's your character. It's just, right, we faltered, get back on, start doing it again, you know? But definitely, like, I think a lot of the situation around giving up things for people, the majority of it is around fear and just misunderstanding the situation, you know, like, in a way. And I suppose we're just blessed that we're after getting the experience that we've gotten, and you know, the support that we have and all that type of thing, and it just makes it substantially easier, I think. Easier.
Sorry, go on, Danny.
What have you been up to, Mick? What have you been like up to the last while? Like anything wild, strange, or indifferent?
Geez, if I'm honest, a guy I was doing some work for owes me a lot of money, and it's
give me the address.
Yeah, no, what you call it? No, I won't need any help that way. But it's no, it's just been interesting, you know. It's just seeing how, like, when you say about character and stuff like that, and just kind of some techniques I apply to my life, some things I understand now about powerlessness.
Rear naked chokes.
Yeah. We can't. This is being recorded, lads. This is being recorded. No incriminating evidence, okay? I just got no speaking English. I know, but it's like I was just trying not to get, like, see, my thing is, in the past, like, when I would get stressed in a situation like that, where I would feel like, you know, someone's potentially going to take advantage of me, you know, I would get frustrated, very frustrated, you know, and you know, a lot of the time, like when I'm like that and going around, the people I love, the people that are closest to me, are getting the brunt of that. Whether it just be my mood, you know, just being down, being intolerant, whatever it may be, you know. And I seen a stark difference, because thank God this doesn't happen that often. But I saw a very, very clear difference in the way I dealt with it this time. You know what I mean? I just assessed the situation, rather than let my head run on with that thing, Colin, like, you know, going down rear naked choking him. I understood. I just went to myself, right, well, listen, I'm not going to be getting physical. Like, you know, that's not going to be happening. The consequences of what's going to happen after that, for me, I don't want to do. And I just went through the whole situation, and I was there to myself, right, I understand what I will do if I don't get paid, you know what I mean? I will take some action, okay? But so I squared that away, and then it was just about working on my day-to-day kind of acceptance of it. This is the way things are at the minute, right at this moment. I can't do anything about it. I just need to let it go and move on with my day, you know. And it really helped. I actually was able to maintain a pretty good, other than, I'm not going to lie, 1 or 2 nights there, you know, did kind of get difficult to sleep. And one morning I woke up fairly angry, and I had to do some meditation, Danny, and it brought me back right. But yeah, so that's really what's been going on for me, you know. But you know, go ahead.
Just to be honest about it, right? Does your head initially, when that guy fucks you over, or if he does or not, I'm not sure, but this guy, does your head immediately go to physical violence on this guy? Now, I'm talking about thoughts now. I'm not talking about physical actions.
I absolutely get it. I absolutely get it, man, right? And this is where I'm going to be very honest. Like, in the past, that's where my head would have gone to, right? Immediately. I would have, like that, and maybe gave some threats. Maybe kind of said, this is what I'm going to do, right? But I am not actually like that, you know what I mean? I've seen the consequences of violence, like with people close to me, and you know, I know I'm capable of it, but I'm like, I've seen the consequences of it. And so even though I, in my mind, would be chopping them up, and I'd be doing this and I'd be doing that, and I'd be putting the threats, ultimately I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? It'd be very, very rare that I would go to a situation like that.
But I would be the same.
Yeah,
with that, but it's a fantasy.
I have learned,
so.
yeah, no, that's what I mean. And I would always fantasize about it. And that's back to what I was actually saying, was that I actually looked at the situation and I could kind of feel it was coming. I could feel there was a circumstance that didn't suit him had come up. And I had always been assessing the situation, because there's been a lot of work has gone on. And I was like, he hadn't leverage against me, and him making a move like this, I understood, would cause him great difficulty because of the people that we were working for and all that type of stuff, or the job that was being done. But I seen that it was coming to the end of that. The circumstances around certain things didn't go his way, and I could just sense it was changing. So I had a build up to this, you know what I mean, where I was going, I have a feeling he's going to do this, you know. And so other times I would have, but see, that's why I was back to this situation where I looked at, and I actually, rather than going there with the fantasy in my head, which causes me disturbance within inside myself, right? I actually looked at it and I went, I'm not going to be doing that. Okay, I know that, right? What you call it? I'm not going to go to jail over this money. You know what I mean? Even though, like, you know what I mean, there, on some level it could be good. Like, it could feel good. I don't know. But I made that decision at the start. So it actually, before it happened, I'd been thinking about that. And I'd kind of said to myself, I'm parking that. Because when I go to that place, I become obsessed with it. You know what I mean? And I get really worked up. And I can also go to a place of fear, because I'm thinking, yeah, I'm getting aggressive. I'm getting angry. You know, and that kind of perpetuates itself. You're going. But also then there's those, like, you know what I mean? That obsession has a dual kind of thought going on. It's going, right, doing it. And then consequences, doing it, consequences. And this is just the kind of mentality that's going on. I've been there before, haven't enjoyed it, hasn't been good for my home life, hasn't been good for the situation itself. And so this time I decided, no, I'm parking that side of things. Now, I do have another option, which is equally enjoyable, I think, which is I will go and I'll take down everything that I've done. All the work that I've done, I'll go and I'll take it down, like, you know. So
I'll help you.
Yeah, no bother. But like,
we get a couple of sledgehammers.
I have them. I have them.
Hey, listen.
I don't worry.
I'm not even joking.
I
remember a woman years ago when I was, without getting into too much details, but it was kind of a counselor type situation, you know, and to get me to release like frustrations and stuff, because I was good at bottling it up years ago, you know, like anyway. She was like, if you cry, you'll feel better, you know. I was like, because we were talking about some heavy stuff and that, and I was like, no, this is like 12 years ago maybe. And I was like, no. And I remember bringing me out to this place to cut wood with an axe, and I swear to God, it was the best thing I've ever done in my life at that time. Like breaking shit with an axe, like, you know, it was good, man.
Getting the frustration out.
Well, it's a natural thing, isn't it? We all have it in us. Like, we all have that desire, you know. But like you said, that is the consequence nowadays of doing that. I'm great at playing out these situations in my head. Like, okay, this guy fucked you over. Okay, I'd like to kick him. Like, I'd like to hurt him. That's the way I think. Now, I have never hurt anyone, as in gone up, you know, and fighting someone on the street for some reason or whatever. It's never been something I've been into. But that's where, isn't it mad? That's where the head goes. Like, it's like. Initially, and it's an obsession kind of thing. But like you said, consequences. You can do anything you want in this life, but everything has consequences.
Absolutely.
And all it takes is to hit someone wrong, man, and they're dead. You know, that kind of way as well. And it's
one goal. That's all.
It's heavy shit, isn't it? And especially with these hands. You know?
These lethal weapons.
Especially if you're 6'7" like Danny and fucking built like a tank. Oh.
It's funny, lads, you know, you're talking about that. I had a situation this week. I bought a business, as you know, and I had a situation which I won't go into with the guy who sold it to me, and he sold me the business, and he had another unit up the road and decided to reopen his business in this unit after selling me the same business.
Oh, what a scummy move.
Yeah, and straight away, I can tell you, I ain't gonna bullshit. In my head, that guy's windows are getting smashed, the place is getting torched.
I love it.
Fucked up. I'm gonna smash his brains in. He's a dead man. You know, that's all. I swear to God, that was the instant reaction in my head. This fucker is gonna pay for this, and I'm gonna figure a way out to pay for him. That's my head, like straight away. That was it. That's easy to smash. And like, right, okay. And then it was like, okay, so what's then, like, straight away I was like, well, what's going to happen if I do that? I'm going to get locked up. He's going to get exactly what he wants. I'm going to be in fucking cell. I may get free food for a while, but I'm not going to enjoy fucking prison. I'm going to lose my own business. I was fucking fuming, like, you know. And I went up to him. I went up to the shop and I stood in the doorway of his new shop, and I said to him, I just said, look mate, I says, what you did honestly, I didn't lose it. I just said to him, what you did honestly is despicable and not really a nice thing. What you did, you told me the reason you were selling the business is because you had another thing to do, and now you're reopening the same business. And I just said to him, do you have a license for this business? Yeah. And within about an hour the thing was shut, like.
Nice one, Danny. Nice one.
It has not since. Now, he might still open. He might get a license.
But he will be established by the time he does. Yeah.
And then I went back.
That is like, that's pure gangster shit, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
He's just. I stood at the door, and I said to me, he couldn't look at me in the eyes, and I knew he was being dishonest. He was looking at the ground, looking at his shoes, looking at everything. I said to him, be a man. Look at me in the eyes. I'm telling you right now, what you've done is bullshit. It says it's not acceptable. It's not a nice thing to do to anyone. And he kept looking at the ground and says, don't look at the ground. Be a man. Look at me in the eyes. Admit what it's not a bullshit thing. I'd lost it, man, but I didn't like physically lose it. I just said to him, look at me and just admit that what you did was rubbish. Like, you know what I mean? And in the end he said, yeah. And I said, okay, so have you got a license for this? He said, nothing. And he says, have you got a license for yours? And I says, yeah, I bought it off you. And I literally walked out, and it hasn't opened since. And then I went off, and I was fuming, lads. I swear to God, I still had the mentality in my head, I'm going to burn this place, you know what I mean? And I was like, no, it's not a good idea. No. My battling with myself, got back and I rang my accountant, and he was like, he could tell I wasn't in the best of places. And he said something very simple. He said, focus on your own business.
Yeah.
Focus, because if you get distracted and get into tit for tat, you're going to destroy your own business.
Make bad decisions.
And you're going to start attacking his business. He's going to start attacking yours, and you're going to be focused on each other and not on what you're doing right yourself.
Yeah.
So I've been focusing on myself and being a better business, and it will make me stronger and better. And it brought me back to a story many years ago. I'm going to share this quickly. That there was a neighbour of mine, and he I was DJing at the time, and I was going out with a girl at the time, and she was in the house on her own, and it was in the countryside, and she messaged me, someone's trying to break into the house, you know what I mean? They were trying to get in the back door. And of course I was DJing, I couldn't leave the DJ box. So I literally said to the bouncers and the manager of the club, and they sent 2 bouncers out to the house, you know, and the bouncers hoofed it out to the house, got out to the house, and he ran off, right? And they told me who he was. So I fucking found him, and I grabbed him, and I says to him, I lost it, man. I says to him, you come near my house, and I said some seriously threatening shit. Like, I'm not going to go into it. And that was it. And I said, you come near my house again, that's going to happen. Like, that's definitely going to happen. And he went off, and I thought, well, that's nothing else is going to happen. You know what I mean? That's the end of it. Like, he knows I've told him, you know, that's it. You know, controlling the situation was my solution, you know. And then 2 months later, I've painted the inside the house. The girlfriend's having a bath. I'm chilled on the bed reading a book. And next thing, the window smashes. There's a rock through my front window. He's standing outside with a can full of gas, threatening to burn down my house. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm literally, shit, this is not good. So I call the police, because I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to go out there where he's a can full of petrol, and who else is out there? He scoots off. So the police took a report, blah, blah, blah. And they said, look, we know who it is. We'll get him to pay for it, blah, blah. I says, and what about, like, the safety of my girlfriend? This, you know, one thing about me, I'm not afraid of it. So anyways, she was scared in the house from then on in, right? So I went down the next day to his house, and I said to him, right, buddy, I says, and I just lost it again. And he pulled a knife on me, and it was just this, and I was like, this is just going to get worse and worse. And I talked to, you know, a very close friend of mine, and he said to me, he says, all I suggest to do is, and I'm not promoting God or anything like that, it's just pray for it or whatever, you know what I mean? See if you can see it differently. And I continuously fucking said a few words for this fella, and, you know, and one day I was like standing outside of Lidl. I was just coming out the door of Lidl, and this fella was coming in the door of Lidl. And whatever clicked in my brain, just clicked like that. I just thought, you know what? And I put out my hand and I said, listen, buddy, we both done wrong to each other now. It wasn't acceptable what you did. I'm happy to forgive you for it. You're my neighbour. I'm your neighbour. If we need each other, it's better that we're together than we're against each other. And he was like, you know, he kind of looked back and he was like, what the fuck's going on here? You know what I mean? I thought we were at war together, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden he chilled and he says, I'll pay for your door, I'll pay for the damage. And I was like, no, I don't want the money for the door, I don't want the money for damage, I just want peace, you know what I mean? I don't want to be having the shit anymore. He said, all right. And about 2 nights later, I was coming back from a club after DJing, and he was in a hedge, in a hoop, sick all over him. I pulled him out of the hedge, brought him home. And the next day he remembered it, and he said to me, why did you do that? I says, because that's what it's about. And after that, every time I met him, he was looking to buy me a coffee. Everything was changed. And I realised that it was after I did that, I realised that sometimes, you know, although what he did was wrong and my reaction was a natural reaction to what sometimes is a different way of looking at things and a different way of approaching things to bring peace and harmony in your life. And that was a big teller for me, and it brought harmony. Like, I could have kept going at that and it would have just kept going. It would have got to the point, you know, where it would have just been fucking all out war. Like, I would have been smashed windows, he would have had smashed windows, you know, it would have been like tit for tat. And, you know, and it was one of the things I realised as well over the time is, like, even to the other day I had a confrontation with a neighbour who had happened to have he has a unit beside me that opens late at night for doing certain things. A red light goes on outside his place, and he tried to put the red light on above my place.
Whoa. You can't skirt around that thing.
It's not what you're talking about. Come on.
Stop me.
When you say the unit next door turns on a red light late at night, can we just clarify? Are we talking about a brothel here with prostitutes coming?
Brothel, man, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So hold on. What kind of unit is it during the day then?
It's nothing. It's closed. It doesn't look like anything.
I thought it was like a hair salon during the day, and then at night time the red light comes on.
Doors, man, shut. Yeah. I didn't even know it was there when I bought the place. But at 9 o'clock it opens. My place closes at 10. And there's an hour crossover. So my initial reaction was anger again. And I was like, nah. And then I thought to myself, there's probably a better way of approaching it. So I talked to him and said, look, you can have that light on over my unit an hour later at 10 o'clock when I'm closed. I don't care. But while I'm open, I can't have the red light because I can't be bringing customers into my shop with a red light over. It just looks ropey, like, you know. And in the end, we had an argument at the start. But once I approached it differently again, we came to a solution, like, you know what I mean? And it's part of the learning things that I've learned in over the years is, man, if I lose my head and shit gets, you know, mad, it tends to just go back and forth. It escalates.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It escalates, definitely. And it's like, I've seen it before so many times, you know, like, in a way, and it's even just dipping the toe into some stuff. Like, listen, I've no problem standing up for myself, as you well know. But, like, it's... But around stuff like that, when it's like, you know what I mean, when it's getting to the stage where you're talking about violence, you know what I mean, that ended up right. It went from like threats to a knife being pulled, you know, cans of petrol, like, you know what I mean. It's like well, that's taking it to another place now. Fucking putting rocks through someone's window. And but where it goes, if you do something to someone, like, it all depends on who you're doing it to, of course, like, you know what I mean. Yeah. But it's like, if that person, like, you know what I mean, say for instance they feel wronged or anything like that, you know what I mean, well, when they're coming back, they're not going to come back and do less than what you have done to them. They're going to come back and do more. And if you've felt wrong the first time, well, you're going to feel more wrong this next time, and then what are you going to do? You're going to do more. Exactly. So it's like it is one of those things where it just can escalate very quickly. And I just knew myself, Danny, as you're saying, and Colin, I just knew I didn't want that in my life. Still don't want it in my life. I broke it down. I worked out what I was willing to do and what I could do realistically, and that's still there. And I had to park the rest because I was going to myself, like, you know what I mean, it's I'm not getting physical with it, you know. It's not, for me, it's not worth those consequences.
But as well, where would you be going at this age, going out and getting into fights? Like, there's nothing more disgusting than people fighting on the street.
That's exactly what I mean.
You know, but still, I still have the fantasy. Like, you still go through the fantasy and the anger. It's the first thing that will come, like, when it comes to, if you think some guy is trying to fuck you over. But that's all it is, though, you know. That's all it is. And it can usually put things logically into place and how it's going to affect and escalate. You can, you can play them out, like, and kind of apply, you know, self-control. Because if not, we'd all be. What was it? I remember I put up on Facebook before. I remember. Hold on. This is funny. I remember this girl I know. She's a very deep girl. You know, she put up on Facebook, "You are what you think." Yeah. Right. And I wrote underneath it, I don't agree. Like, something like, I don't agree. I don't believe you are what you think. Something like that. And she goes, Colin versus the Dalai Lama.
Said he was full of shit.
I tell you what, that Dalai Lama is full of shit. He is. What is he doing? Man's locked in a fucking mountain or out in a temple or something. I just don't know. But it's not necessarily true.
So you've carried on the grudge. You should, like, that'd be a good way, man. Just have a grudge match. You know what I mean? To see if
the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, he's probably some kung fu master or something.
Calling him out.
Protect himself from an invisible force.
Calling the Dalai Lama out on Twitter. It's a
Call him out. But that for me, like, was the biggest struggle, lads. For me, like when I gave up drinking drugs, was learning how to deal with that anger, man. Like I remember in the early days, man, I pinned a cop up against the wall. You know what I mean?
Did not.
It did, man. He was
that's like a 7-year sentence in Ireland.
No, he was off duty. Like, I know he's a cop. He's a friend. He's like, but like I could have been done for it. Like, he was chatting to my girlfriend at the time. You know what I mean? And I struggled with jealousy, man, and I just kicked off. You know what I mean? That's obviously different now. I don't struggle with jealousy like that, but I just fucking lost it. You know what I mean? Like red mist. You know, did that. You know, lost it. Grabbed a guy, threatened him, got him a motorbike, drove like city speeds up the wrong way up a one-way street, like, do you know what I mean? And got to the top, and honestly broke down crying because I was so full of anger and hurt, man, and not knowing what the fuck was going on, and like just a lot of work over the years, being able to deal with that, like I have a fuse, man, just switches, like I don't have it.
It's funny, isn't it? How weird that can be with just. Like, you're not a bad person. Like, you just don't know how to deal with certain feeling or emotions that comes up, like, and it comes out in weird ways, like, you know.
Oh, fucking great.
Well, that's why they say, like, anger is a secondary emotion. It's like generally something else starts, like hurt, rejection, like judgment. Something happens, and that feeling you can't tolerate. You can't accept. You know what I mean? You can't deal with. So the way to kind of deal with it is to get angry. You know what I mean? So that's why they say, like, anger comes after another emotion generally.
Yeah, I mean, there's those feelings. Those what is it that I remember reading in a book years ago? Halt, hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. Yeah. That's a good one. You can relate everything back to that. You can relate every single bad mood or problem back to hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Can't you though? If you really sat down and been honest about certain things, you know.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I mean, I get definitely like what you're saying there, Mick, as well. Like, it's like, it's a trigger thing. Like, it's a trigger thing from something deeper down. Like, for me, like, when I gave up drink was a great fucking way of dealing with emotions for me and drugs, you know. It's a great way of dampening having to deal with those things, you know. When I was in school, man, I was bullied. You think, like, how the fuck was he bullied? He's a big lad, you know what I mean? But I was bullied emotionally, and one of the things I struggle with was literally, like, and that's one of my fuses, is when people start taking, not anymore, but used to be, like, when people start fucking, I think they're talking about me or taking the piss out of me, I just fucking flip, man. You know what I mean? Just flip, like, couldn't handle it. It was like triggering certain parts of me that I had insecurities about, and I just go, like, that was it. Anger would just come out and I'd lose it, like. Obviously that's changed over time, like, and so that's that. But just thinking about over the last while, I was struggling with kind of, I was saying to you before, like, with some social situations and stuff like that. It's got a lot better, man. You know, this new business that I've got into, it's getting me back into, you know, the job that I've had for the last God knows how many years has been, like, literally just stuck in fucking my room working. You know what I mean? Not really talking to many people and not really having much of a social outlet with my job. And what I'm doing now is I'm out on the street chatting to people, and it's been, you know, I love it. Like, I just feel in my element where I'm chatting, having a crack with people.
I know.
You know, it's just something about it.
I can relate to that because I done that for a few years, right? Like, I go, well, I would have had a very social job actually before. Like, as being a photographer all my life, like, I would have had a very social job before I went to Australia and that part of the world and start working. But then that went into, like, the hospitality kind of industry, kind of, and that just took it to a whole another weird place of, like, being social and, you know, having to be smiling and happy all the time. That was fucking, by the end of it, like, that was even harder than the other thing. And now I'm in a kind of situation where I just work for myself again, but I have an office that I just sit in on my own. Well, with my pup, my dog sits there with me all day long, like, and that's another thing I have to watch. I have to, like, I go out and meet people for coffee for a half an hour and stuff like that just to get out, because I would I could fall into that trap of sitting there for 12 hours on my own. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's good for anyone. It's all right, you know, sometimes, like, but I do have to, get out there a little bit and, you know, do some stuff and that and try to pull away from it. But it is good fun. I know I really did enjoy that a lot. And I know what you're talking about, getting out on the street and meeting and talking to people now. I'd say that's good fun, man, in the sunshine, you know? Just pushing yourself.
Just good crack, man, you know, and the thing that I'm doing, like, it's you know, I'm not, what I'm selling is something that's enjoyable, you know what I mean? Experiences that I love, you know what I mean? And it's just fun meeting people. You know, obviously, where I am, obviously, people are on the holiday, so 90% of them are happy, you know, and they're like, you know, they're away, they're fucking doing their stuff, they're having a laugh, and we're talking about more things that they can do and enjoy, like, you know. And it's just been, for me, it's been nice to be out and about like that, and it's helped me with my confidence again and just being out there, you know what I mean? And it's been good, and it's enjoyable, like, and the change has been good, like, and it's brought a little bit of positivity back in that sense of my life, and just being able to socialize a bit better and feeling more confident.
I think, like, you know what I mean, now just thinking about, like, the three of us now are self-employed, and it's and when you're talking about that, Danny, I could just imagine, like, the difference when it's your business and you're going out there, and that enthusiasm that you bring to it, like, you know what I mean. I just know, like, you know what I mean, since I worked for myself, like, work brings out, it's a different entity now, you know, like, in a way, it's you know, there's far less days where I'm there just, like, you know, running down the clock. It's like, no, I'm invested in this, and I'm going to do it. And like you, Colin, where you'd happily sit there for 12 hours if you're into a project and you're doing it, like, you know what I mean, you'd sit there and you just do it, like, when it's your own business. It's a good thing, I think.
It's another great thing about having the pup as well. It makes me bring her out. Like, I bring her out twice a day now. I have a river next door to my house, so I bring her down to the river, like, and it gets me outside. Other than that, I wouldn't leave, man. I would not leave the house that day if it wasn't for that pup. I'm telling you, I wouldn't. Even, you know, the way I always remember my mother saying to me growing up, "You go outside, it's sunny out." You know, like it was this thing that you had to do was, you know, as soon as the weather was nice in Ireland, you know, get outside. I never liked the heat really that much when I was growing up, which is kind of ironic or weird because I love it now, you know, kind of.
Yeah, you just didn't like it because you were never out in it, you know, and it's so rare anyway. but she was right. She was right. We should be out in it, like, we can, because we need our vitamin D.
But I do love
Irish
the beach.
People lack in massive
I do love the beach, man. The beach is fucking awesome in Ireland when the sun is shining.
Our forests, man, up the mountains, you know, there's amazing stuff around, like, you know what I mean? Any of those things, just grass, you know what I mean? Just something, anything with nature. The second I stand into a forest, there's a different energy. Like, I don't care what anyone says.
For sure.
You go into a forest, like, you know what I mean? I can understand why people might hug trees, because there's definitely something different when you go into a forest.
Well, trees do connect to each other. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Trees. I learned that about hemp plants and marijuana plants and that they actually talk to each other, which that blew my fucking mind when I found that out. You know, I don't know.
In what way, like?
Like if you have
pass the ashtray.
No, but just for like literally, if you have a male and a female plant beside each other, the female will not produce good flowers. Yeah. But when you take the male away, the female produces more flowers in order to attract the males. So that's what the Mexicans discovered years ago. And it produced, now I could be arseways with my facts on this, but they produced, they changed the game, like, in terms of producing marijuana. But yeah, they do actually, no, I'm only using that reference because they connect to each other, like a way of showing that our plants actually do connect somehow. So the female
as well,
makes nicer flowers because she wants to get men in her life. So that is fucking, when I found that out, that blew my mind. I was like, shit, you know, that's incredible. they could have their own little language and world without us even, no, we just don't understand it or can't communicate. Like, and that brings me to the whole vegan thing as well and the vegetarian thing.
I love it.
Well, let's be honest here. Let's be honest. I've known vegans, man, that are blazing weed out with left, right, and centre, right? Smoking that weed all day long, not all day long, but and then coming up and talking about, now, don't get me wrong, I'm not into animal cruelty, and it does, that kind of thing. I understand part of it, but some of it's so extreme. So if you want to really get down and dirty into the whole lot, if fucking two plants are communicating like that, there must be some kind of conscious or unconscious connection. I don't know what it is, but they're connecting somehow. So they have their own little thing. That female plant is blooming more and wants to be more beautiful in order to attract males, so they can produce more seeds, because that's what happens. The seeds come into the plant, and then obviously those seeds produce more, right? So it's like, but if you have two females beside each other, they just produce flowers. They don't produce any seeds. So that's obviously life in some way, shape, or form. So they're just taking that shit and smoking it. I'm burning the plant, which is probably like a horrendous death.
You hear them.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You just put sound effects in. You know what I mean? No. I have some arguments against veganism myself, but you know what I mean. I don't think that would be the first one I go for, though. You know what I mean? It's like I have seen years ago. I seen programs. David Attenborough did a program where they put microphones to vegetables, and they reckoned that they were communicating. They were making noise and all this type of stuff.
Fucking mental.
Yeah,
that's some heavy shit.
This clicking noise, and they were reckoning genuinely. Like, you know what I mean? There's a whole program about it. Like, you remember listening to
this is definitely on the TV, or was it back in the day?
Yeah, I was bored. But yeah, no, I'm gonna Google that shit now. That's going into the WhatsApp group.
I want to see it.
But no, I'm pretty sure that was the case. No, my thing around that, I suppose, like, if we're going to alienate, you know what I mean, any listeners, we might as well do it properly. But I'm gonna give my take on the vegan thing. I was vegetarian for years, and
well, me too, Mick. I was vegan for 3 years nearly. 2 years definitely. Yeah, I ate vegan.
Yeah, and you looked terrible.
I looked horrendous. I was terrible, disgusting looking. Yeah,
you were dying looking. And I remember though, I went,
thanks,
like, you got it back, man. You reclaimed it. Don't worry. But no, it's like, and I did, like, look. I was kind of teetering on the edge of going vegan. That was the ultimate kind of goal. I was going to start with vegetarianism. I was going to go to vegan, but it affected my health straight away. So I started to look into it, and I just realized when I looked into it properly how difficult it is to have a fully rounded like nutrition on a vegan diet. And no matter what they say, they're not like when you actually look at the facts around it, it's just virtually impossible. You have to eat certain things that are alive, and the only way you could get around it was if you drank this green algae. This is because, you know what I mean, there's a live, like, you know what I mean, you might be able to get it from that. Like, I mean, this green gunk, and I don't think there's
tablets as well.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a lot of like.
I can't think of the name of it. I know the stuff. It's I used to take it. Yeah,
but my thing is, now this is the way I look at it. I was in work one day, and it was a beautiful day in Ireland, like we're looking at now, and was fields all around me. And I looked out at this herd of cattle that were sitting in the field chewing the cud. Okay, I was working hard under the heat, right? And I could see that those animals were as content as anyone on this planet could be. There is no one that could be more content. They were doing exactly what they wanted to be doing, where they wanted to be doing it, okay? And I envied them. I actually wanted to leave down my tools, walk across the field, and lay down in amongst all the lads and just chill, and I couldn't.
They would have ran.
Right? No, I know, but I'm just saying that's what I would have liked to do, okay? But listen, so my thing is, right, if people weren't eating meat, those cows wouldn't exist. The only reason that they exist is because people eat meat. And if they didn't eat meat, right? So if you ask those cows, this is my belief, right? That if you went over and you taught cows, no shit, Sherlock, and if you went across and you were able to talk cow, this is my belief, this is why I can live with not being vegan. And you said, listen, lads, this is the story. You get a chance to live these years, you know what I mean, out in the field, chewing the cud, chilling out, you know what I mean, doing what you want to do. And at the end of it, you're going to be killed, you know, or you don't get to exist at all. I believe that the majority of those cows would say, no, listen, I'll take that deal. You know what I mean? That's just my thing.
But how can you say that though? I see where you're going, right? How can you actually say the cow? How can you make a call on what cows would be thinking?
That's my. How can So you'd put yourself in the cows.
But you can't do that.
But you can, of course.
But the cows not exist before, like we ate them, like.
No,
this
man.
Is a
listen, no.
Conversation.
Or did we make the cows?
No, they didn't, Danny. They're domesticated animals that came about. They were changed from herd on the plains, and even if they were on them, ultimately what happens is when they get older, that they're chased down by hyenas or lions or whatever it is and eaten to death. But no, I totally disagree, Colin, that you couldn't. They wouldn't be in Ireland. As I said, they are only there because people eat meat. And I totally disagree that you couldn't hypothetically put yourself in a situation where someone would say to you, right, you get to do what you want to do, like a cow would, or not exist.
I think it's okay, whatever the fuck you want to do, but, right, whether you want to eat meat or not eat meat, be a vegan, be a fucking astronaut, whatever the fuck you want to do, right? But if, what I'm trying to say to you is, I think that we eat too much fucking meat, right?
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's too much.
And there's too much cruelty.
So much damage.
And there's too much cruelty. That's my thing, is that there's just too much unnecessary cruelty. That's where it has to be looked at.
It is. It's pretty fucked up.
There is no need for the cruelty that happens to the animals. If they were able to be taken care of, I wouldn't see a problem.
I think many years ago, it was small portions of meat with lots of veg. You know what I mean? Like meat was like something you would eat in small enough portions, because
it was expensive. It's no longer expensive because of factory farming, which shouldn't be happening.
And it's just like there's too many, you know what I mean?
That's it. And that's where the environment gets messed up. That's where everything. So no, it's.
But in Ireland, I don't think it's as bad as when you go to the States. Do you ever see that? I think it's PETA that do that clock on Super Bowl day, showing you how many chickens are killed. Chicken wings is a big thing, and they show on Super Bowl day, they have a clock, and it's just spinning like a motherfucker, like how fast, and going into millions and millions of chickens that are killed just for that day to be consumed at halftime and whatever, when people are eating chicken wings during Super Bowl. I remember seeing that one day.
Why did they have it on there? Is it like
PETA are just showing you how bad. PETA, if you follow them on Facebook or anything,
Right.
And they're pretty cool, man.
All right. I thought it was for some reason I didn't know who PETA were, and I thought it was for some reason in my head I had, why would the chicken company be showing how many chickens they're killing?
McDonald's. Hey, McDonald's. McDonald's have a thing.
Mental, you know what I mean?
Look how many cows we're killing.
I think we killed the PETA.
With the whole food thing as well, I just think anything that's too extreme is just fucking weird, anything that's too far gone, especially I've been around vegans that are really hardline vegan to the point where wouldn't wear a fake fur coat because it looks like it's encouraging. It's encouraging real fur. I can't remember the exact fucking quote that it was said to me, but I just think that's a bit fucking, weird. Like anything that's gone too far off to one way is just a bit, for me doesn't sit right. And extreme, we can all, find balances and things. It's the same even down to addiction and, getting clean, and I just never was able to go too far the other way, that kind of way, or it's to the point where I won't do this or I won't go there because of this, and I just never could do that.
Yeah,
I always had to find a way in the middle, and because of that way that I lived like that, and never really went too extreme in anything. At the start, maybe I was very cautious, but I always tried stuff. I always tried and pushed the boundaries a little bit just to see, but I can honestly say, in 12 and a half years, I have never thought I wanted to drink alcohol. Never. I wanted to smoke weed at one stage in London. I remember coming back to Carlow and just in Ireland and just realizing, oh my God, imagine I had to do that. Like, you know what I mean? It's not something I really, really wanted to do, or I would have wanted to do, but it was the only time in that length of time. But I try, and even now, I never see myself wanting to do that again. I've talked to people who say, oh, in 10 years, I don't know, I'd like to, have a few drinks when I'm in my 50s and all that. I honestly don't have the desire. And I put it down to not going too far either way, that I just have a nice thing in the middle there somewhere, without having to drink or take drugs or anything, I don't know. That went off on a bit of a tangent, but I just think that anything that's too extreme is a bit weird, and I apply that to kind of my sobriety.
Trying to find the kind of grey area, isn't it? Sometimes I can just go on extreme on certain things. You know what I mean? Just finding that kind of
just balance, isn't it? It's very hard to stay balanced when you're in the extreme of something.
But I never. It's a funny one because I have people that I talk to and that ring me up and they're talking about fucking. That are clean over it, like clean and sober over a decade, you know what I mean? And still talking to me about, oh, what if I, went drinking, or what if I done this, or what if, and I never, ever, ever, ever think that. And I don't know if that's a good thing or it's a bad thing. I never think, oh, in 20, will I get to 20 years of not drinking and not taking drugs?
Well, it's terrible, like, you know what I mean? On every level, like, it's a terrible way to live, like, you know what I mean? Because at best, like, you know what I mean, we should be trying to keep it in the now, you know what I mean? Our biggest problem is we're living in the past or living in the future.
100%, man. Just stay in the day, and it's so easy.
That's it, man. And it's like, if you're fucking thinking about drinking in fucking 20 years' time, or whatever, get over it, man, will you? Fuck's sake, like, you know what I mean? Get a life. It's like, you know what I mean? Deal with the day, you dickhead. That's why we send him on the phone.
Pop the fuck on.
I just like to, like, I like living in the moment, and that's good sometimes, and it's not so good sometimes. Like, living in the moment financially is not always the best thing, you know what I mean? Living in the moment financially is probably the only time when it's bad, Living in the moment.
I was actually explaining that to someone yesterday. I was on like, listen, I like financially, I would like maybe, you know what I mean, to be a bit more prudent, and but I actually clicked in my head and I says, I'm probably just delusional, but I always just have this innate like sense that I'll sort it out, you know what I mean? If I need to, I actually function well under pressure, like, you know what I mean? So it's when things are going great, that's when I can go lapsed on things. But if, like, say for instance, money went tight, or like this situation or like that, I just go and I just have this thing inside me where I go, well, I'm going to do what I have to do to make this right, you know what I mean? And so I don't go around in fear of it, like, in a way. It's not like I'm going around and going, Jesus.
No. Yeah, get you.
And then I reckon I'm going to win the lotto at some stage as well, anyway. So
do you do the lotto?
At the odd time.
Do you know what? This is a funny one now, because talk about lotto, actually. I bought a scratch card a while ago, right?
Right.
I bought a scratch card. I never gamble. I just don't like it. Even scratch cards, I don't like it. It just doesn't, I don't get the kick from it. Now, I got into the habit of about 4 days in a row of buying a scratch card every time I went to that shop. Well, 4 times there, 4 days in a row. And then I found myself, oh, look, I bet you I could guess the answer to that fight. Like, I think it was a UFC fight. And I was thinking, maybe I should put €5 on that. I swear to God, that's the way I went, and I had to go. I actually turned around and I got scared. I did. I got a little bit scared.
That's how it starts, isn't it?
Man, I'm not joking. Yeah, people are probably listening to this and they're going, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Some people could relate, and some people are probably going, "You fucking headers," right? But if you don't know that by now, you haven't been listening.
Oh no, I'm a fucking.
But I am. Like, I have done the same. Like, you know what I mean? I used to go in and I start getting a lottery ticket. And it just became a habit, man. Within fucking days, it was a habit. Like, I couldn't walk into the shop and I was getting lottery tickets. And I was just like, Yeah, and escalating the same thing, like putting on like guys that come in there and work, and they'd be like, "Oh, there's a tip there. Do you want to put a couple of pound on it?" And like someone that go, "I put on so much," and then go to be said, "If I put on double that, I'm going to win double that." That's my first thought, and I'm like, and thankfully I just keep losing. You mean these bets I put on very sporadically, I lose. But I know if I got that buzz, man, if I got that win, God knows, you know what I mean? It's just.
But that's the worst, though, man. That gambling, that is the worst.
Brutal.
I mean, just the worst, like in terms of, like obviously hard drugs and hard alcoholism is bad.
There's only so many drugs and alcohol you can get into you. You can lose everything in one bet. You know,
and then it's just all clean. It's all psychological. Every part of it is
it's hidden. It's hidden. You're not falling around the streets. You're not going in with that. You can do it on your phone now. It's just like, you go in, you have the app, you go in, you don't have to go into your bookies.
That's actually what I thought. I was like, oh my God, because I've been predicting the winners of these fights now for a while, you know what I mean? A good percentage of them I kind of get right. And then I seen an ad, that's what it was, like you get a free first bet.
Yeah.
Something like that. That free first bet is the most dangerous fucking thing, I'd say. Like, I don't ever want to do it. I never want to get that. I never liked it in any way, shape or form. I had a run I done it in a casino one night in Australia, won the first night, went back thinking I'll win the next time, and lost all the money I won the first night in the first 20 minutes, and I was like, I am done. Finished.
Same with that trading, lads. I tried trading for a little while. You know what I mean? This fucking trading, and studying the charts and trying to think I'd understand it. And as the mentality that I have, emotion came into it. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, if I can make a bit on that, I'll double it up. Or I've lost a bit on that, and I was like, here. I lost, I think it was about nearly 300 euros. I said, fuck this, I'm closing this account. I'm mental, you know what I mean? This is not for me. I emotions invested in this, and people who do that stuff and make money are just able to deal with it coldly and calculated. I can't, you know what I mean?
I was the same. I started buying Bitcoin,
Yeah.
And it had I used to be looking at it, and I'd be like, oh, the price has gone down, and I'd buy more or I'd sell or do it. It was just constantly this kind of thing. It just was an obsession in my head. I just and I lost a lot, and next minute it went because it crashed, and then it came back. So I was able to get my money back to what I'd spent. I just sold it all and got out, thank God. But
I see my girlfriend now with the Bitcoin at the minute, right? She put 50 quid into it. And I think it's gone. She's on €220 profit at the minute.
Yeah.
But that is at an all-time spike, I think, at the minute. I don't think.
It's only coming back from a big dip. So it was a bubble. It went up into a massive bubble and burst. So that's why when she bought it, it had gone, that rocketed down to a very low point, and now it has come back up again, halfway back up to where it had been before. So she got in on the low point and went up, but what happens is people keep getting in because it's up, crash. That's what it keeps doing, so it's very
well, it's like anything. It's the whole thing, isn't it? And it applies to fucking everything. What goes up must come down. The higher you go, you take enough MDMA, you go high as a motherfucker, but you gotta pay for it the next day when you come down. But it's true, though. Everything that goes up comes down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Sure.
It's a strange one. Speaking of trading, so a guy comes up to me today in a coffee shop and says if I invested 10,000 into this cryptocurrency, that in 6 months' time you will get 20,000 back. Right. So let's see. Is that possible?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's also possible that you'd end up with €1,000.
Yeah.
What he was saying to me is for the first 3 months, they gamble your money or play your money, whatever it is, and they get the profits, and then they give you a return after 6 months of 20 grand if you put 10.
No one has any idea, Colin. Listen, it's on the way
back.
Oh,
here, listen.
It's on the way back up at the minute. I know you don't have any interest in it, but it's on the way back up now at the minute. And at any stage, see, a lot of the thing, it can be controlled. There's certain people have seemingly vast amount of it, and they can sell and buy and totally control, crash the crash the they can flood the market, drops the price, crashes the whole. Everyone sells. The price crashes, and they can buy it all back at cheaper prices and do this. So there's all that type of stuff going on. You just never know yet, and you can get in. And you can play the game, and but a certain type of person might be able to do that. This type of person sitting here is not one of those people.
But you want good capital, that kind of way. You want to not care about if you lose money. It's like, exactly. I know people that used to buy and sell currencies, but you had to have big capital to get into it in the first place.
Well, it's what Danny was talking about. If you have a system, if you're cool, calm, and collected. I know a guy, and he invests in it, and he doesn't look at it. He has just decided that he is going to keep investing in it. Doesn't look at the prices. He's not going to sell no matter how low it goes, no matter what happens. And he's just going to ride it out. And he reckons that in, like, say, 10, 15, 20 years' time, that no matter what happens, it will have, he will have gained. You know what I mean? So he's just going to keep on doing it. Now, that's his thing. And he's able to keep cool, calm, and collected around the situation. I would be looking at every 5 minutes. Where's it gone to? Has it gone up? Has it gone down? That was the way I was, you know what I mean? It's just different mentalities, and I'm not set up, you know what I mean? I have a lot of strengths, and just one of them is not that, you know what I mean?
And there's leverage trading as well, and they do it on Forex, which is the foreign exchange, and people do it bulls, but it's just, for me, like, when I started doing it, I was understanding it, but I was just like, and it's all about getting in. You have short trades, long trades, getting in the trade. It's just, there's so much to understand it, and then you get emotionally tied to it, like, and it's just, and as Mick was saying, I was just watching it too much and getting obsessed with it. It was fucking disaster.
But even at that, it's just like, it is gambling, and it's like you can do all with the gambling, you can know all the horses, you can like. But no matter what happens, unless you have fixed it in some way illegally, you are guessing. You don't know what's going to happen. It's not a sure thing. You know what I mean? It's just not, like, and that's the same with the trade, and it's the same with the currency, it's the same with anything. You're just giving a bet. You're just taking a chance. And that's all it is. And many, many, many people have lost their bollocks doing it.
Do you remember, Mick, we were in Kilbeggan one day, we were actually going around looking for places to go busking years and years ago.
The races, yeah.
Yeah, but don't say who we were there with now. Don't say that, right? But I remember being there that day, right? And seeing this guy that was with us. Seeing this guy that was with us going over and looking at the Kilbeggan horse racing, and looking at this guy going over to the parade ring and looking at the horses and looking at the size of them and all this kind of thing. And I was thinking, Jesus, this guy is fucking, he must be well into it, like, and then he'd strategically pick his bet based on the form in the guide, and then the horse, the size of it, or whatever the fuck he was looking for. But I remember watching them losing the races, like, all the time gambling, and all I was doing was going over and picking the favorite each time. Like, I was like, why is that one like 11-4 when everyone else is like 16-1? You know what I mean? And just going over. I remember winning every race, like,
Oh, Charlie, sure, we could nearly finish it up now, lads, and I enjoyed that. For anyone that's, we went through some random topics there, but I suppose we did talk about our mental heads as they apply to it. But
self-control.
That's it, man. Acceptance. Obsession. Anger, and all those types of things we've talked about. Where can you find us, Danny?
You can find us on Twitter at @that_Craic, or you can find us on Facebook. That's Good Craic. And Colin, where can you find us on the old Insta?
The old Instagram. I kind of been locked out of it, man, so I haven't been on it in ages. But I will just get back into it today. I have 5 Instagram accounts on my phone, so you can only have 5. I need to go back onto it just with work and stuff, so I need to go back in and log in. So apologies if anyone has been contacting us on it, but hit us up at That's Good Craic Podcast on Instagram.
Yeah, and we can get us on our email is 3drylads@gmail.com, and that's 3drylads with the number 3.
Right, lads.
It's been great. It's been good fun.
Yeah, it's good to get back at it, lads.
Peace out, boys.
We were on our summer holidays.
Don't forget to subscribe to to That's Good Crack on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever you're listening to it right now.